Power Rangers, Defenders of Gaia. Episode 21, Into Darkness, Part 1. Nikki frowned as she looked upon the expanse that was spread out before her. Nothing but dark smog and black and bare rock for miles. The rock formations created many shaded areas, meaning blots could conceivably pop out to attack at any moment while in there. Truly, it earned its title as a dark zone. Mordor? Have we finally made it? Of course, going in on foot would be bad enough, if not for the fact that they were going in on mounts. Most of them, anyway. The Centaurs obviously didn't need them, and the Magma Nagas refused. While it did save them airty in terms of having to travel, it was nonetheless problematic, particularly in that Dirk was the only one who rode practically his whole life. Nikki had some lessons, but needed a refresher course, and the others, well...
Sis, you are embarrassing me so much right now.
Layla moaned, her face bright red as Madeline tried to cover her horse, while groups were escorting the road behind them.
Come on, at least I got him facing the right direction,
Madeline argued.
That's because he's facing backwards,
Layla cried.
Madeline shrugged. Yeah, but he is still going the right way.
Layla buried her face in her hand, Faye patting her shoulder as she rode along her.
Relax, Layla. I'm sure she'll get the hang of it.
Yeah, and I'll grow a tail, Layla mumbled. Faye tilted her head.
Can you really do that? Because in some areas of Gaia, having a trail is considered highly attractive.
Layla's eyes widened as he giggled nervously.
What kind of areas?
Nikki pinched the bridge of her nose in embarrassment as Inferno slid over her.
Interesting friends of yours.
You know, they could take this a little seriously, Nikki muttered. We're about to go to war here, and they're still cracking jokes.
As I understand it, some cope with the pressures of war by being jovial, so that when the battle occurs, they can be all the more serious.
Inferno suggested, getting a curious look for Nikki.
I'm not one of these people, mind you. I find it highly foolish, but nonetheless can see how it might work for others.
As the three girls finally made it to Nikki and the Magma Nagas, the sound of hose beating got louder, and from off in the distance to the left of the group, a large gathering of dwarves, gnomes, night elves came galloping across the fields. At their lead were Dirk and Drayden, the former of whom seemed to be having a rough time with his horse, but nonetheless was controlling it better than Madeline was hers. Good, you made it, Nikki said with a smile. Wait, where's Patrick? He was behind us somewhere, Dirk replied, looking back. Hope he's not having trouble, Drayden said, sounding a little worried. Hey-how! Floyd shouted. The group spied Patrick riding alongside the gnomes on his horse, while standing. Oh, this is awesome! Ha ha ha! Madeline blinked out shocked before turning to the others.
Is it me, or has ever since he lost his eyesight, he's found new ways to make us look sad?
It's not you, Nikki sighed before yelling, Patrick, get your butt over here! You know, it's weird. Dirk observed as Patrick rode over. How do horses even exist in Gaia? You know, I bet I know what Dirk's thinking. You know, some days I really hate that guy. But I have to ask, Mr. Arthur, did you intentionally do a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 reference? Because that's all I'm thinking of right now. That scene where Leonardo outshowed his three brothers riding a horse. Layla shrugged.
A few slipped into the cracks, or perhaps in their world they're simply developed for unicorns or sit.
Okay, sorry I suddenly asked, Dirk yelled, throwing his hands up. Nikki rolled her eyes before clearing her throat, the group forming before her. Okay, guys, this is it. I've never been good at big, memorable speeches.
Tell me about it, Madeline muttered. You're in last place for badass quotes, and you're supposed to be the action girl. That's because I let my accent speak for me, Nikki retorted. Point is, once we go in, it's all-out war. Bots can attack at any time, from anywhere. Plus, Walker and Darkia have who knows what kinds of other tricks and monstrosities waiting for us. And all we have is each other, and our 6 primary Gaia swords. There's no teleporting else once we step in. So anyone who doesn't want to go in, I suggest you head back out now, because you might not get another chance afterwards. Otherwise, we stand or fall together.
Patrick smirked as the seconds ticked by, not hearing a single hoof clop or any Magwanagas selling their way. Well, it doesn't exactly paint a pretty picture, Nikki. But to be honest, we know this is going to suck. If we weren't ready to go through this, we wouldn't be here.
Seconded, Drayton replied. Everyone here has been wronged in some way, shape, or form by this war. No one's stepping out of this one.
Nikki nodded with a confident smile, turning back to face the dark zone.
Okay, then. Everyone, to the Dark Chamber! For Gaia! For Gaia!
Unite Masters yelled, the group slowly making their way across the border and into the dark zone. Okay, Nikki, that's the way that you set this up. I have to say this. There's a day when all hearts will be broken, when a shadow will cast out the light. On our eyes cry a million tears, help will arrive. There's a day when all courage collapses, and our friends turn and leave us behind. Creatures of darkness will triumph, the sun won't rise. Where we lost all hope, it's succumb to fear, as the skies rain blood and the end draws near. I may fall, but not like this. It won't be by your hand. I may fall, but not this place, not today. I may fall, it all. It's not enough to take me down. I may fall. Dora sighed, watching the viewing globe as the large Gaia army crossed over to the dark zone. Professor Snyder watched as well, nervously fidgeting as Drayton led the group of 9 elves into the darkness.
Well, that's it then, Sauron muttered before turning to Charles. How goes the Operation Lighthouse?
Charles rubbed his arm.
Well, it goes. Leia helped a lot in understanding and modifying Gaia technology. We won't know if it'll really work until the time comes to use it. Still, last I checked, it was just charging fine. Good, John replied, stroking his beard. In the meantime, there's one more thing we need to be concerned with.
What's that? Snyder asked. Jarwar pulled out the light crystal, catching it slightly.
If this plan works like Nikki is hoping for, then very likely this will draw Dardarius into combating the team in a more direct manner. We're going to need every advantage we have in case and...
Charles nodded, understanding.
But to get her to get this, there's only so much you can do. Correct.
Jarwar said aside.
Which means that if I'm not able to help the team, I'm going to have to do something that can very well redefine the term drastic.
Darkier turned back from the fireplace to the front door of the dark chamber, just as Walker was entering. Everything set up? Best as can be, anyway, Walker replied. And the Grand Gaia army on our doorstep? They just crossed over, Darkier answered, getting up from her seat. I suppose I'm probably the last line of defense for you, aren't I? Walker smirked. You know how these things work, sister. Besides, for my last strike to be at its most effective, I need them worn down as much as possible, and you're likely to play a large part in that. Darky nodded, her eyes softening slightly. Look, you don't need to do this.
You know I do,
Walker huffed, looking to the inner lab before being stopped by Darkia's hand on his shoulder. I mean it, Darkia insisted. Look, what you've got planned out there is the most reckless thing I could ever imagine you doing. But this is insane, even for you. Walker's eyes narrowed as Darkia went on. Look, forget this. Let's just get out of here. Send an explosion or something out the door. Sneak out the back way. We never take them all out that way. And your father, Walker started to retort. Then we hide, Darkia cried. We find some hole so where he won't find us and eliminate whoever's left of the Rangers when he least expected. Getting back in his good graces. You forgive us then.
No!
Walker warned, summoning his sister aside. He'd forgive you. You were always his flesh and blood. You were always the one he gave the least of his wrath. I was the one he was always hard on, to mold and perfect into his greatest weapon. Darkia's eyes widened in shock as Walker held up his staff. That's why he gave me this, so that when the time came, I could use it to unleash my greatest monster. In the end, I was always meant to be one thing, a weapon for Dradarius. Well, Darkia, the time has come for me to play that part. I'll show your father, my father, and the Guardians of Gaia that I am and will forever be the greatest weapon ever made. With a loud huff, Walker stomped to the door leading to his lab, grabbing a lightless figure at the very back of the cabinet. In its darkest corner, before he could enter though, a glass vial was thrown in the doorway. He turned to face a highly indignant Darkia back on her feet, tears forming her eyes. There was one other thing you always were, Darkia noted. Walker stared at her, looking every bit as defiant. I suppose you're going to say, my brother? Darkia gave a tiny shrug. I was going to say, a jerk. But, yeah, that too. I would like to pause after that really good emotional moment to say the following. My plots are supposed to be Power Rangers-esque. Every episode is supposed to follow a simple formula where the bad guys plot and scheme, there's some sort of subplot going on in the background, the Rangers struggle, they fight, they defeat, they lose, they team up again, find a new way to defeat the monster, and win. It's not supposed to be 44,000 words. That would be from our dear friend Mikan, who is convinced that that's the way Power Rangers series goes. It is not. All the good Power Rangers series don't follow that. This is a good Power Rangers series because it makes me care about the characters. I also love the part where he says, all my stories are supposed to be rage, anger, tragedy. Yeah, here's the problem. Not much of a tragedy for your Starfleet members, is it? Ikki let out a loud cry as she rode her horse forward, charging through the fly bots that stood before her. It hadn't taken long for them to come under attack. Though all things considered, she was expecting better than a horde of generic bots. But the numbers working against the Rangers, particularly the Magma Nagas, wasn't something that required morphing to deal with. Even with the threat level low, though, it was enough to make things more a little than chaotic, particularly due to how much darker and denser the fog had gotten. Looking around, Nikki could only see a scramble of horse riders. She couldn't really tell who was who, except for Malin. That was only because she was the only one riding her horse backwards. We gotta lose this fog! Dirk yelled, blasting a pair of blots as he rode through the scores of them. Even I'm having trouble hearing through it, Patrick announced, kicking a blot to the ground. There's got to be documented and fused into the fog itself. On it! Drayden called, seizing his Dragon Buster and giving it a hard swipe into the air. The fog's density suddenly went down, the darkness in it being drained into a sword itself. The new visibility made clear the number of blots that were continuing to pour out in the shadows, as well as a few venom blots flanking them. Company! Layla called, spotting the venom blots. Infernios, cover our main forces! Nikki ordered, getting a nod from the Magma Naga. Guys, it's morphin' time! At this call, the team pulled their crystals from their chains. Nikki, Layla, Patrick, Madeline, Dirk unholstered their crystal blast morphers and inserted the crystals inside, while Drayden inserted his own crystal into the Dragon Max morpher. They all raced their morphers forward, running towards the venom blots as their enemies charged towards them. Guardians of Gaia! Awaken! The main fall called them. Indigo power! Drayden called. Well, my nose is bleeding. Just the idea of Rangers morphing while riding on horses is just so damn awesome that it caused me to bleed. Wow. Now, you see, Giga Man, why didn't you ever have a scene like that? A rainbow of elemental blast shot out from their morphers, spiraling around each other in the air, before smacking the venom blots and doubling back into the six, coating the team with energy. Their suits all materialized onto their bodies, as did new reins and saddles for their horses, each matching the color of their rider. That is so unbelievably awesome that I am at a loss for words. Guardian of Fire! Nikki yelled. Red Gaia Ranger!
Closing it on wind,
Patrick called.
Green Gaia Ranger!
Guardian of Water! Blue Gaia Ranger!
Guardian of Earth! Orange Gaia Ranger!
Guardian of Lightning! Violet Gaia Ranger!
Guardian of Darkness! Indigo Gaia Ranger!
All 6 horses all sprung up as they flashed silver light, followed by 6 multicolored explosions.
Power Rangers! Guardians of Gaia!
I would sincerely like to apologize to my audience. The previous scene was so awesome that I think I killed all of you. That moment was just something cool. I'm crying. Wow! The only way that could be cooler is if you had the swords flying overhead, black clouds with lightning striking. Let's just go. You can't pass this. It's a thing of beauty. Bravo, Arthur. Bravo. That's like one of the most awesome things I've ever seen in my life. Nice job. Some people might think, as a fellow Power Rangers author, am I intimidated? No. All I'm doing is seeing these Rangers riding on 6 horses while multicolored lights explode right behind them, and all I can think of is,
hold up here.
I need to top this.
8 sabers!
Nikki said, drawing her twin swords, leaping off her horse. Nikki drew a hard double kick into the face of the closest venom blot before springing back off, slashing it across the chest. Before he could regain his bearings, the venom blot was blasted in the face as Nikki combined her sabers into the heat bow, releasing an arrow as she jumped back up, letting out her horses and dashed by.
Storm nuts!
Patrick announced, pulling out his green pole arm.
Duck!
Got it! Dirk replied, riding alongside Patrick, grabbing one side of the storm lance, gripping it tightly. The two charged a pair of venom blots, and as the close climb, both of them with the lance. For a third leaped up and kicked it, knocking the 2 off their horses.
Oh, that's it!
Dirk roared, getting back onto his feet.
Quake Axe!
Calling out his axe, Dirk swung it high over his head before bringing it down hard, cleaving the ground open. The venom blot fell into a small crevice, getting stuck in it. Dirk then held out his arms to the sides as Patrick came running up from behind. The Green Racer leaping up and propelling himself off of Dirk's arms before driving his lance to the venom blot, leaving only behind black smog in his wake.
Dragon Buster!
Dragon yelled, drawing his sword and inserting the dragon crystal into it as he rode up to a trio of venom blots. With 3 slashes of his sword, he easily dispatched the trio before turning his horse around and charging the blots, attacking the main forces. Flame Launcher! Gaia called, bringing out a master blaster, shooting down a venom blot, only for the recoil to knock her off her horse. Uff! Okay, maybe that was a bad idea. Lightning daggers! Madeline screamed, hurling daggers out on electrical chains to strike down the pair of blots before hauling them back. Coming next to stop to Leia. Sis, get on! Arthur, did you just decide that for the rest of this chapter you wanted to pull out all the stops for how many moments of awesome you could get? Because I'm seriously dying of awesomeness here. Little Eye twitched. How's it you can fight on horseback, but you can't get it right on the right direction? I'll tell you what, you steer, I'll hack baddies, Melon offered. Fair enough, Layla replied, getting on the horse and taking the reins. Nikki knocked a blood off her horse, sniping a venom blunt with her bow, just as he heard a series of yells from the main forces. Turning back, she spied the horse. A group of centaurs and night owls, practically getting trampled by a small horde of mechablots, came charging towards them with their energy shields up. Guys, mechablots! Nikki shouted, a team forming up. Remember, go for the tubes! Layla replied, the rangers charging the mechablots. As they approached, the mechablots turned their attention to them, blocking attacks from the group until Drain managed to score a hit, slicing a tube apart. However, as he came around for another attack, the mechabot simply leaped up at him, just as the Indigo Ranger felt sudden surge of heat coming off of it. Before he could figure out what was going on, the mechabot exploded in a fiery blast, knocking him and his horse to the ground hard. Drayden! Dirk shouted, immediately dismounting his horse and taking off on him. You okay, bro?
Drayden groaned, dragging himself to a knee. Ugh, that mechabot. He was rigged.
Melon's jaw dropped as the team quickly grew backed up. Rigged? As in it had a bomb in it?
Hang on,
Dirk replied, closing his eyes and concentrating.
What?
Patrick yelled, confused.
It can peer to anything that the darkness touches, just like your air vision. The ebony running through these tubes are pretty much liquid darkness,
Drain explained, just as a mental image of the tech and the meta blocks formed in his head.
Oh no. They're all rigged with explosives. Every mechabot is a walking bomb!
Nikki's eyes widened in terror, as no sooner did Drain say that than a magma knockout ripped apart Mechabot's tubes, causing it to explode, and send every last member of their allies tumbled to the ground.
No, everyone, protect the main forces!
The group nodded, splitting up. Nikki went straight for the nearest Mechabot, dismounting her horse and trying to haul the monster back from a group of dwarves. She was quickly and unnecessarily knocked aside by the Mechabot's hand cannon, but she managed to bounce back up, getting between it and its targets. Firing a charged-up shot from her blaster, the Red Ranger managed to force it back. They ran in close and sliced apart a tube. The Mechabot immediately began to heat up, Nikki kicking it back and leaping away as it exploded, sending her flailing through the air before hitting the ground hard. Patrick, Dirk, and Drain quickly formed a small blockade around a group of the wounded gnomes and elves, keeping a pair of Mechabots away. Charging up the Dragon Buster, Drain managed to clean their energy shields apart, giving Dirk a chance to slash their tubes. As the Mechabots started to heat up, the tube got out of the way. Patrick spinning his Stormlight so hard that he sent out a gust of wind that blew the pair of monsters to a safe distance before exploding, though it managed to knock the three Rangers off their feet. Faye, you need to get out of here! Leia screamed, desperately holding back the Mechablots with her flood launcher, as Faye and her fellow Dryads tended to the wounded. I can't leave these people here, Faye insisted, channeling her healing light through a dwarf. Yeah, let's see show these plots how to really go boom, Maz insisted. Bronzuka! Layla's eyes shot open as her sister brought out the bronze-colored bazooka. You sure that's a good idea? No, Malin answered, inserting her Thunderbird crystal into the cannon with a focus crystal. Wanna find out? Layla smirked a little, despite herself. Kinda. Lock on! The two shouted, powering up their weapons and aiming them at a pair of Mechablots. Fire! Malin and Malin fired their weapons, sending a massive wave of water and soaring thunderbird of energy at the Mechablots. Blasts hit them hard, setting out the explosives in them, and knocking the blue and violet Rangers to the ground. Layla! Faye cried, running to her side. Speak to me! Ever notice they spend a lot of fights underneath ground? Layla asked, sounding a little woozy, but otherwise okay. I'm really starting to hate dirt. Faye let out a small giggle, helping her up before doing the same for Mad. That was incredibly reckless. You two are becoming far too similar. I am a bad influence, huh? Malin noted, dusting herself off. As she did, A huge mass of black smog began to arise from the ebony venom spread across the ground, forming a giant blob that loomed in the distance.
Oh, great, we got a big one!
Nikki groaned, came back to her fit.
Drayden, Malin, it's sword time! Layla, Patrick, Dirk, stay with the ground forces and try to make a break for the Dark Chamber!
You got it, boss!
Patrick yelled from across the battlefield.
We need Gaia power now!
Nikki, Malin, and Drayden called, lifting their swords into the sky. A trio of light streams launched out, and within moments, the Phoenix, Thunderthird, and Dragon Gaiazords flew into the scene. The three Rangers leaped up into the air, being pulled in by beams of light into the Zords' cockpits, and inserted their weapons into the controls.
Okay, what do you say we show these plots something we've never seen before?
Sounds about right, Malin replied. It is kind of late in the season.
Let's do it then, Nikki ordered. Gaia swords combine!
The Dragon Sword flew ahead, twisting its long body around to form the legs and torso of the giant robot, while the dragon head formed a chest. The Phoenix and Thunderbird swords cawed as they swooped in close, curling their wings and talons to form the right and left arms. Finally, a robotic head slid out, resembling the Dragoon's helmet. The Megazord landing before the blob as Nikki and Madeleine's cockpits slid in to join in with Drayden's.
Dragon Megazord, double wings!
The trio called as the Megazord powered up. The Bloodbot growled at them, launching a fountain of acid at the Dragoon Megazord. However, the wings of the three combined swords suddenly unfurled as the Megazord leaped and rolled to its left, launching dark electrical blasts from the Thunderbird sword's eyes.
Hey, let's not let them have all the fun,
Dirk yelled on the battlefield to Layla and Patrick as he cleaned the blood down.
Let's take these suckers out!
And now you're talking, Patrick shouted in response, batting a pile of blots out of the way with his lance.
Let's wipe them out,
Layla added, cutting a fed blood down with her Gaia saber.
Crystal gauntlets!
The three raised their right fists, golden gauntlets materializing on them. The three inserted their crystals into the circle compartments atop the gauntlets, calling out,
Guardians of Gaia! Barrel mode!
The crystals shimmered in brilliant light before expanding to fit a circular compartment in the gauntlets, the light blazing on them with the image of their matching Gaiazord. The three Rangers then threw their fists up as golden light poured out over them, turning on the silver on their belts and Gaia Saber's gold, adding a gold trim to the top of their boots and the golden armbands around their biceps, changing their suits' main colors to shinier, more metallic colors.
The Admiral's laser!
Patrick called, a green gust of wind whipping up around him.
Sapphire Ranger!
Layla cried, the crystal blue bubbles circling her.
Amber Ranger!
Dirk roared, the ground shaking where he stood. Reinvigorated, the three Rangers went back to work. Layla, spotting a quartet of venom bots approaching the Magma Nagas from behind, threw her palm to the ground. Within a second, a large geyser shot up from underneath the venom bots, sending them skyward before tumbling down to the ground. Easy prey for the Magma Nagas. With this done, the Sapphire Ranger then turned to launch out a wave of water that washed the group of bots away, giving a troop of dwarves a chance to advance. Stomping the ground hard, Dirk shot a stone slab out of the ground, grabbing a massive chunk of rock in his both hands as a dozen of bots ran toward him. With a mighty yell, the Amber Ranger leaped up and slammed the oversized stone weapon down onto half of them, before sweeping across the other three, then hurled the slab away, taking the venom bots with it as it crashed off into the distance. Dirk turned and gave the thumbs up to a squad of elves, who took this opportunity to charge along with the now freed up land. Patrick shouted as he spun across the top of the ground, whipping up a green cyclone as he went. Within moments, he pulled at least a couple dozen blots, a half-dozen Fetabots, and a pair of Mechabots, before sending them rocking up into the air, colliding, and exploding harmlessly into the sky. Coming to a halt, Patrick dusted himself off, only to just barely move as a familiar sickle stabbed out from the fog to try and slash him.
Was wondering when you'd show up, Darkia,
the Emerald Ranger admitted. Wasn't expecting you to be so late to the party. Darkia frowned slightly at Patrick. Let's just say I've been having a bad day. So happy to have someone take this out on. Patrick drew his Gaia saber, to two assuming fighting stances.
Always be the please. Let's do this!
Darkia let out a harsh cry, charging at the Emerald Ranger and slashing wildly with her sickle. Patrick managing to parry each attack. As this went on, the Dragoon Megazord managed to leap up into the air and land a hard flaming punch onto the Bloodbot, knocking it away. Landing back on the ground, the robot raised both arms. The jaws of the dragon, Phoenix, and Thunderbird opening as energy gathered in them. Tempest Finale! Nikki, Madeline, drained and crawled, sending out whirling blasts of fire, lightning, and darkness at the Bloodbot, utterly destroying it. Before the three could celebrate, though, two more Bloodbots suddenly spawned, one rolling itself into a massive ball and slamming into the Megazord. Shoot! They need help! Dirk yelled, watching with Layla. Go help them. I got this! Patrick shouted at the two. Blades launched with Darkia. Dirk nodded. He and Layla raising their gauntlets and calling out, "You need Gaia power now!" The gauntlets shot out pulses of light to summon the behemoth and Leviathan swords to the battlefield. The two quickly leaping up into their cockpits. Lock on and fire! Dirk finished. The two swords unleashing combined earth and ice elemental blasts from their mouths to hit the bots hard. Back on the ground, Darkia kicked Patrick back before sliding her fingers across the flat of her sickle, sending crimson red energy through it. With a feral scream, she hurled it at the Emerald Ranger, the sickle forming a sharp, blood-red boomerang of energy that slashed all around him, sending sparks off his suit as he fell to the ground. Darkia smirked evilly as she caught the blade with her hands. I had enough playing with you, Patrick, Darkia announced, the sickle now launching into a giant, glowing red hook. It's time I ended this once and for all. Patrick groaned, getting back to his feet with his saber and blaster both drawn and powering up.
Oh, that's how you want it. Bring it on!
With one last grin, Darkia swung her hook hard, while looking to bring it down hard onto the Gaia Guardian of Wind. Before he could, though, Patrick calmly raised his blaster and screamed,
Red blast and slash!
The Emerald Ranger fired a green bullet-shaped blast of wind before launching an energy slash from his sword. The two attacks connecting to form an arrow-like attack that shattered the encircled sickle blade. As Darkia stumbled back from the shock of her weapon being blown apart in her hands, her eyes were just barely able to catch the rush of green towards her as Patrick charged over his Gaia saber, striking hard as he swiped past her. The emerald sparks of energy crackled across her armor as Darkia rocked back a bit, before falling backward. However, rather than consumed in a fiery explosion, like she expected she would, she instead found herself caught before she could hit the ground. Leslie waking up, she saw her catcher, none other than the Emerald Ranger.
Why didn't you just finish me?
Darkia demanded, on the brink of unconsciousness as Patrick eased her down. Patrick removed his helmet and sunglasses, letting Darkia see his unfocused green eyes.
I probably should have. You and your brother have done so many awful things, all without the slightest bit of regret or mercy. But the truth is, you and Walker, you're only aware of this because of your father. And neither of you had the choice to be anything else than his pawns. Maybe sparing you won't make a difference, but...
Darkia scoffed. Ever the glimmering, honorable knight of wind. Patrick put his sunglasses back on, getting to his feet as Infernos came over, probably to bind her.
No, I'm just trying to be a good man in a world gone crazy.
Meanwhile, the pair of bloodbots fired fountains of acid at the Dragon Megazord, sapping it of energy. Before it could be drained too much, though, the Defiant and Behemoth swords came charging in, tackling the bloodbots away. The Dragoon Megazord followed itself with a pair of fire and lightning blasts on the two oversized blots.
Dragon Megazord's lost a lot of power. It can't hold the Megazord together much longer.
Hang on, guys.
Help is on the way!
The team heard Patrick called, just as the Hippogriff sword came spiraling in, slamming its hose across the bots.
Alright, let's change modes and finish these crates off!
Nikki ordered, the Dragoon Megazord disassembling into its three separate orbs.
Rangers, power up your Unity crystals!
Right! Patrick, Leah, Dirk, and Madeline shouted. The 5 primary Gaia Rangers inserted the Unity crystals into the Gaia sabers, yelling, Gaia swords combine! As their swords sprung up and shifted their bodies around. The Zords then combined into the Rangers' giant robot as their cockpits came together in the head. The robot landing on its feet.
Gaia Megazord, power up!
The team calls the Megazord team to life. The dragon sword soaring by, unleashing a blast of arc flames into blood bots, roasting them.
Cliff Ghost!
Patrick yelled. Gaia Megazord's eyes firing a pair of green, swirling energy beams that cut across the closest blood bot.
Leviathan Bite!
Leon cried. The Megazord spinning on his left hoof before delivering a roundhouse kick with the right. Leviathan's sword was filled with ice that bit down the blood bot as it connected. Within moments, the monster was frozen in a block of ice.
Behemoth Suka!
Dirk roared as the behemoth sword's jaw opened on the chest of the Megazord, tossing loose an orb of energy that blasted the frozen blob apart.
Alright, one down, one to go. Guys, get up! Look out!
Drain shouted as the remaining blood bot steamrolled itself into the Gaia Megazord. They reformed into a massive slime, trying to cover the giant robot with its body. Flying in close, the Dragon Megazord launched balls of black fire breath at the monster, stunning it.
Get off!
Mal and Nikki yelled, the Megazord throwing lightning and fire and yelled the punches to the monster, until finally was forced back.
Leela, how's the power looking?
Nikki yelled.
We're good,
Layla confirmed.
Now, let's fire this overgrown black booger!
The Bloodbot roared, launching a wave of acid at the Megazord, only for it to leap up with the hippogriff swing spread out wide. The Gaia Megazord then flew up into the air, doing a loop-de-loop before coming back down at the monster. Both fists charged with energy from all 5 swords.
Star Punch!
The 5 Rangers called as the Gaia Megazord slammed into the Bloodbot with a flying double punch of flame and electricity. Set the light was sailing through the air before exploding, black smog rising up into the sky before it dissolved into nothingness.
So much for Walker's little trap, Nikki yelled. Now let's get down there and finish this! Right!
The Rangers called as all 6 slid for the cockpits, the swords returning to their hiding places to recharge as much as possible. Zarwell looked down into the tunnel leading to the Nexus of Energy, residing under the ancient library. The swirling, rainbow-colored chamber stretched downward almost endlessly. The old wizard could feel his light crystal glow as it filled with power, being so close to it. However, for what he needed, he couldn't remain close to the Nexus's reach, if he was truly to be a member of the team. Guardian of Gaia, then the time had come for him to leave this library behind. But to do that, he was going to need something. Older than light and a mental power here, Zorro said, placing his crystal into the Unimax staff. Here goes. Holding his staff over the tunnel, Zorro focused as hard as he could. His golden light lifted up from the abyss. He cried out as he felt the light's energy surge through him and his staff, illuminating the room in a blinding flash. Nikki's eyes narrowed at the door and his on the darkest side of the Blackstone Mountainless.
That's the entrance? No doubt about it,
Dragan replied, the 6 Rangers standing before the rest of the army.
I think the whole Black Mountain look kinda gave me the way, to be honest.
Malin added, as Nikki and Dragan inch towards the door, weapons drawn.
Honestly, if we know which dark zone he was in all along, I found this place in less than a day. Like, if this is the place, why can't we just kick the place down with the Megazord?
We don't know what's in there, Patrick answered as Nikki slowly reached for the doorknob. Walker have hostages. There could be secret information we need. There could be a bomb that will blow up the whole area.
Or Walker could be huddled in the corner,
Nikki added, sounding confused. The 6 Gaia Rangers slowly made their way to the dark chamber, merely recognizing, much to their shock, that Walker was in fact huddled in the corner of the room. Cautiously, Nikki and Draden inched towards him, the others keeping behind him.
Okay, kinda living up to the name,
Dirk noted. What's wrong with him? Patrick asked, taking notice of Walker's blank and unfocused eyes. Nikki knelt down in front of Walker, leaving a hand in front of his face and getting 0 reaction.
I don't know.
Is he?
Malin asked, turning slightly pale as Draden placed his fingers to the Shadow Master's neck.
He's alive, but his pulse is erratic,
Draden answered.
Jeez, look at this stuff,
Layla said, scanning the room.
It's got a cabinet full of lightless figures. Cells upon cells of emanating venom. Is that an enchanted fireplace?
Or spy on anyone, anywhere. Sending out dark flames to make monsters grow, without having to leave this place.
Dragon explained, getting on looks. I kinda still have some of the knowledge and information Dragoon had floating around my head. Useful stuff, actually.
Did he by any chance know about this?
Layla asked, holding up some notes on the table.
Does he have any venom formula?
Whoa! Dark yelled. With those, we might be able to find a weakness. Hey, about that ebony venom, Nikki inquired, spotting an empty vial on the ground at Walker's feet. Doesn't this look just like one of the vials that contains it? Just as the words left Nikki's mouth, before anyone can react in any conceivable way, Walker's eyes suddenly widened as he threw both arms out, knocking the razors across the table. Jane quickly got back up, Dragon Buster in hand, brought down on the Salamander, only to be blocked by some invisible force field, leaving him to be stuck and forced to watch as Walker's eyes glow in eggplant color. You took it, didn't you? I am a living weapon forged by my mother for the one true emperor of this world, Walker declared as his body began to reshape itself, turning into unwavering eyeless, and I am ready to destroy, as any weapon should!
Oh crap!